Възможно ли е да бъдеш отровен с чаша чай? В бара на хотел Милениум в Лондон на 1 ноември 2006 година бившият руски офицер Александър Литвиненко се среща с двама руски граждани. Той пие чай, който по-късно се оказва отровен с радиоактивния полоний 210. Литвиненко умира 3 седмици по-късно в лондонска болница. Британското разследване заключва, че убийството вероятно е извършено от Андрей Луговой и Дмитрий Ковтун и е било одобрено на високо ниво в руската държава, твърдение, което Москва отрича. След смъртта му, съпругата му, Марина Литвиненко, води дългогодишна битка за истината. Днес разговарям с нея извън ефир, тук в Лондон, за да разберем повече за последиците от отравянето и за борбата и за справедливост.
First of all, when Putin was elected in 2000, we know he was almost nobody. Nobody knew him. Yes, somebody knew he was a director for a short time, director of FSB, again like a faceless person. Then he for a short time was prime minister. What exactly was point he might be successor of Boris Yeltsin. But anyway, it was TV, media who made him. And he realized this, not maybe him, but people around Putin realized if you control media, you control this country. And this exactly happened to what happened for this last 26 years now. They started to control media in Russia. They started to send this message to another country. And of course in Bulgaria, so many channels you can watch from Russia. People, my generation might speak this in Russian language. The most toxic is Russia Today or RT because it's a very good looking people with a good language, show amazing picture of Russia as a better country. And people think you believe right things. But now when you have artificial intelligence, when you have social networks, this is all built. This is picture of Russia as a great country and Putin as a great leader. But it's all fake news. Because this is all now destroying. When they decide to destroy a country as Ukraine. And they found as a so special people who disagree. And this is what other people think, oh, we don't want to be as Ukrainian and we better live in a good relationship with Putin. But it's not right.
Can you tell us what led to your husband's conflict with the Russian authorities and how your family eventually came to the United Kingdom?
No, this was unusual stories, and of course nobody expected. Our family will live somewhere so far away. Sasha, as officer of security service, became very concerned of what did happen to Russia after 1996 particularly. And he was, I would say, to describe him, he was like a new wave of security service. He never worked for KGB before 1991. But when Soviet Union collapsed and when all this GKCHP, I mean, was putsch in Moscow in August, changed everything. And a lot of former KGB officers or just resigned or just been fired. And this was new people from army, what did Sasha before, asked to join with this new service. And how he did start? He started to work against organized crime, against kidnapping. He joined anti-terrorist department. And I think war in Chechnya in 1994 started to crack a little bit his loyalty to state. I would say like this, first, state not always right. But then he started to feel of criminality and his organization, what's supposed to save people, now you need to prevent what this state might, organization might provide it. And this became conflict. But being in conflict with this so powerful organization, you never win. And was charges against Sasha. He spent 9 months in prison. He was sent out on bail, but we knew he never would be able to stay free for long. And when he realized life of his son and my son and mine would be in danger, he just decided to get us out. And how we escaped from Russia in 2000.
In the days following the poisoning, was there a moment when you realized this would not remain a personal tragedy but would become an international case?
I've never thought about this, never. And even I would like to remind, Sasha was poisoned 1st of November 2006. He fought for his life for all long days. Nobody could believe he was poisoned. No, even doctors could not find what's the reason. And till 23rd of November, when he did die, I didn't thought it gonna be like international case. This is all changed dramatically in one night. 23rd of November, when polonium was discovered, when it was saying never ever radioactive material was used as a tool of murdering person. And this has become all step by step. First of all, I felt so awful. I thought now everybody will criticize Russian, just saying we don't need to allow Russian to come to UK. They even killed each other by radioactive material. This was like my whole point. We would be blamed to bring only bad things to this society, but it's not. First of all, we received British citizenship, and we've been British already when Sasha was poisoned, and this was all responsibility of United Kingdom to take this all respond to what happened to Sasha. And of course, it became bigger and bigger until now 20 years almost since Sasha, my husband, was poisoned. And people still ask me for interview, people ask me for commentary, and they still believe how it was important to listen to what Sasha tried to say, to what I tried to bring people as a message from his death.
Do you believe that the slow response of the international community has effectively encouraged the repetition of such actions by Russia?
This is like a illness. When you just ignore all markers or symptoms, you just say, okay, it will not happen, it will not happen. And suddenly this illness became as a big issue. And now you need to do something radical, like an operation or cut something. It became more serious. And we now have it, war in Ukraine. It's exactly what all European community finally received after ignoring for a very long time. Okay, we might do business with Russia. Russia can't live without us. It's still good people. We need to support them. And this is all excuse. And it became, where is this all good people outside of Russia? They now became immigrant and they pretend they are political power, but they can't change anything. Even after Putin will go on, we don't know what they are accepted in Russia. And this is all what did happen. And is European Union, it's called union. And your reaction has to be as a union, as a one country. Again, if you want finger, 2 fingers, 3 fingers, you just make a knot. But when you have all fingers together, it will be much stronger.
In your recent interviews, you draw parallels between the Litvinenko case, your case, and that of Alexei Navalny. Looking back, what do you see today that was not yet apparent at the time?
When my husband was poisoned, this was 2006. And Putin was elected in 2000, and it was his second election in 2004. And all world, we can call democratical, believed after 2008 he will not be existed anymore, because Russia in a strong way to democracy, and first rule of democracy, it's freedom of speech, freedom to be elected, and many things. But it was obvious Putin started to cut all these points of democracy. And But nobody wanted to cut Russia as a partner, and particularly a business partner. Putin was very lucky with the price of oil and gas in that period of time. And he did show in 2004 his power when he cut Europe from oil. When Orange Revolution in Kiev happened, what he did, just switch off. And he just showed how he can make Europe frozen. And this was just a serious moment. Everybody realized, yes, it's his power, how we can be in a battle with him. And this is what happened in 2006, was a very difficult moment for United Kingdom, for European Union, and of course for United States, what was so far away. And this was not as much done what they're supposed to. And only in 2016, when we had a public inquiry at the end, show who behind of this crime, how it happen. And this was already many things happened between 2006 and 2016. And it should be much stronger reaction what United Kingdom government made.
Край моста Отрова в Лондон през септември 1978 година българският писател Георги Марков е нападнат с чадър и дни по-късно умира, отровен с рицин. Един от най-емблематичните случаи на студената война. Но този модел започва по-рано. През 1940 година Лев Троцки е убит в Мексико, а през 1959 Степан Бандера в Мюнхен. Съветските служби лимитират противници зад граница с трудно откриваеми средства. След края на студената война тези операции не изчезват, те се адаптират. През 2006 година в Лондон Александър Литвиненко умира след отравяне с полоний. Операция извършена от руските агенти. Следват нови случаи. През 2018 година в Солсбъри Сергей Скрипал е отровен с Новичок, а през 2019 в Берлин Зелим Хан Хангушвили е застрелян. Убийство определено от германския съд като държавно поръчано. Не всеки случай от тези са напълно доказани, но моделът се повтаря: атаки извън страната, необичайни оръжия и последващо отричане. What do you know about the Georgi Markov case and the so-called Bulgarian umbrella assassination that took place here in London in 1978?
I do know a lot. And this was extraordinary meeting with his wife, Annabelle Markov. I met her in Frontline Club here in London. I knew this story before, like a history fact. But when you go through personality, through people who've been affected, it's absolutely different things. And when she approached me and she said, I'm Annabelle Markov, I was, wow. And we had a very nice chat. We had a special meeting. And she told me more about what was behind and how she was frightening. She is British, and for her, it was absolutely nonsense. Somebody might be killed in a breach in London. And I have another side of this story. I've met Russian general of KGB Oleg Kalugin, who linked to this story the same as a guy who was not put this poison directly to umbrella, but who provided this poison to Bulgarian security service.
What does the assassination of Georgi Markov in 1978 tell us? Are such acts a new phenomenon of the Putin era, or is Putin continuing a long-established tradition?
Absolutely, and it's never stopped. It's only developed. Of course, they're still using something old-fashioned material, but using radioactive polonium-210, it was quite exotic. If you go to history of KGB, and this was laboratory, now it's a factory. And it's more and more people involved in this production of different type of poison. They used a lot of experiments. If you know, this is very popular museum, they called Spy Museum. And of course, the biggest one in the United States. But one smaller, but still very interesting in Berlin. And we know Berlin was always with a special city as a capital of battle of spice. And they have a very big exposition of laboratory of poisoning people, and they just still saying about what different cases. And this happened long time ago, like in 70s. It happened in 50s when Stepan Bandera was poisoned in Munich. It was another assassination, like Lev Trotsky, by using special equipment. And this is all by one. It's only cases we know about. Was it sometimes cases they wanted to be known? Or some cases when we can describe as unexplained death? And this is, we don't know. Was it this KGB or Russian security service was involved? But it still be a lot of threat how this security service in Russia might use this poisoning.
Many people in Bulgaria still see Russia as a close ally. In your view, where does the real risk in that relationship lie today?
No, first of all, when people say this, I would say is this Stockholm syndrome. Absolutely. People just know they are small compared to Russia, and this is a very strong terrorist who took control of you, and any your movement might be even worse. And we saw this whole situation described when after a few days, all these hostages started just to link to these terrorists who took them. And they said, please don't free us. We are okay because we're still alive. And this is feeling we want to be alive sometimes makes this saying, one point. Second, of course, is religious. Being controlled of Russian Orthodox Church. And when I went to Sofia, I saw this. And this is all big, how say, kram, or what you say in Bulgarian. And monument of Alexander of III. And this all shows how we try to belong to part of this great history, what we believed of Russia. And this is always, again, as a hostages, we try to say, or send this message, we are with you, just don't make any pain to us. This is all very, very similar. But maybe we will talk about this, but this is unfortunately bad story of Bulgarian activities in high tech and with all this stuff. But from other side, it shows you might be very good in high tech and you might develop something what even Russia can't do, and you can't make your country independent. Like compared to Estonia, is a very small country, but they've been able to build everything in so innovative way. And the same it might be Bulgaria. And this is always conflict of history and past and how you might be completely new and different. And maybe it's conflict generation too. Young generation, they try to be more independent, but old always try to remind, no, we are part of this culture, we are part of this religion, we are part of this history.
How did you personally overcome what you describe as a kind of Stockholm syndrome? When did your perception begin to change?
I think it is always was with me, because if you see any child, what's the most common? Why? This is like a question. And you need to answer. And it's not like, oh my God, I'm so tired. You always ask these questions. And when I was a child in Soviet Union, in middle of 70s, when it was the strongest socialism control, we're all moving to communism. But as a school child, of course, I know I can't find any truth, but it was always why? Why you say this, but it looks like that? My parents never been happy of my this always challenge. And when I was not happy to receive this on my school or anywhere, I just tried to find something else, and I started dancing. And my dancing was specific, it was ballroom dancing. And ballroom dancing is something like an open mind, because you do dance very specific waltz, tango, you dance quick step, you involved in competition, what is not typical Soviet, it's more like a Western. And then you started to travel a little bit, even to Bulgaria, even to Poland, even to, again, or to Deutsche Demokratische Republic. It's opened your mind. You are not only stuck in your place and believe to everything what is saying to you. If you have this in your mind, just every time to confront for what you're seeing, what you're thinking, it helped me. And of course, when Soviet Union collapsed, and was a lot of opportunity with open media, with people might build their own business. Not everything was perfect, and I know this. And change Soviet Union from one state-controlled country to a different freedom country, it's not easy. And of course, it did happen in some way, but it now took control by all this KGB. But anyway, this is all made people just, if you have a little bit of this challenge in their mind, then open it bigger. And then when we should escape from Russia because of what happened to my husband, I just try to learn how I need to live in this freedom society, in democratical society. It like was my another university. And this is what I did accept. I do like my country, but I'm think to criticize for what happened to Russia. It's much better than close your eyes and say, no, everything is fine. Even in some dirty place, and you put some paper, it doesn't matter, it became cleaner.
Looking at cases like the poisoning of Emilian Gebrev in Bulgaria, do you see a clear pattern in these attacks? And why, despite that, do they keep happening?
It's very difficult now, particularly, again, it's every time postponed. Something was much easier to do before. But this is, again, like a spreading. It's metastasis. For what my husband Sasha tried to say, what this regime is capable, unfortunately it happened now. Sometimes they don't need to send agents who might be trained for a long time or being very professional. They just need to find somebody here in UK, very low profile people, but looking for money. And they might be asking to do something and they will do. Of course, maybe not to put some radioactivity, but making something very bad things. And this is like a kind of different style of war, not with weapons, not with battles, but using society to feel frightening, to feel if some case happened, just, oh my God, it might happen to me too.
При управлението на Владимир Путин милиони руснаци живеят извън страната, но най-голямата вълна на емиграция идва след началото на войната в Украйна през 2022 година, когато над 1 милион души напускат Русия. Лондон от години е един от ключовите дестинации, често наричан дори Лондонград. Тук се установяват както свръхбогати руснаци с бизнес интереси и активи за милиарди, така и политически емигранти, журналисти, опозиционери и професионалисти, напуснали страната заради нарастващ натиск и репресии. Две различни групи, но част от една и съща тенденция – Русия, която губи хора и капитали извън границите си. Marina, you speak very openly and without visible fear. Has fear ever changed the way you live, and why is it important for you to speak out?
I've never done only one thing. Even when I was asked, do you want to know who killed your husband? I said, yes, I would like to know. And this was my question to me from Boris Berezovsky in 2006. And this, of course, everything what I did to know and proved. But I lived my other life as a mother. My son was just 12 years old, and I need to pay attention to this very vulnerable teenager at this time. And it's still a lot of things. I had my friends, I need to live with them, and I was back to my dance routines. And this was every time full life. And I can't say if I'm stopped doing this, I would be just like in front of something new or beginning. And I do this not because I have nothing to do, not. But people asked me, and I'm grateful for this remind to what happened to my husband, to what happened to us. And even more, I was asked to publish my own book. And this book would be woman's story with all what happened. And this is what I exactly to say. I better to be a woman than just a strong woman. And any woman will find themselves in this my book. Even you go through to extraordinary things, but it's always what woman has to do.
Do you believe Russia can change after Putin?
I hope so. It's difficult to say for sure, but it would be very good if we recorded this, because we will see if this happened or not and what I did say. But I believe it's a time to reshape Russia. When sometimes people say it about demolition or collapsing, it sounds bad. But reshape is absolutely right things, because it was always a bad things to Russia to keep this kingdom, huge one, big one, from west to east to far east. But it's never been able to build honest life for people in this country. But when you reshaped, when it would be maybe just part of former Russia to cooperate to each other, again, would be this more as United States, would be this is another like European Union Federation. But this need to have a smaller shape to control. And this is might happen finally at the end. And when we compare from long story examples, we have a different things now, particularly what I already mentioned is media, is communication. This is all different now.